Deep Breath Tuesday is still dealing with the big issues from the weekend on the 360 agenda. A double billing booked for the tribunal, the penalty at issue for Basher Hooley, while Will Schofield looks to beat the House. Tex commits his future to the Crows. Adelaide captain Taylor Walker joins us after signing the new deal. And Kevin Sheedy stops by as he chalks up 50 years in the game, with all his old teams offering a bold showing. I'm Gerard Whateley, here's Mark Robinson. This Tuesday night it's footy from all angles. Hello, Robbo.
Hello, Gerard.
Tonight,
no,
the Holy Trinity tonight, Robbo.
Stop.
The tribunal, the score review and the shot clock. I will not be stopped tonight.
Oh, no, I was just going to
You
warn.
will not stop me tonight.
Don't worry about me. It's the people at home I feel for. Go and get a cuppa or a scotch or a beer, put your feet up. Because Gerard's got to hit the lectern tonight like no other time.
I'm just going to
gather
gather people to the cause tonight.
It's easiest
I'm
money.
going to gather people to the cause.
Easiest money I'm going to make in my life sitting here for the next hour.
It's players' night. They won't get away scot-free either. Sheeds, he'll join the cause.
I'll talk to Sheeds. You can just bugger off there.
So it's players' night here. It's coaches' night at Gills. They're all arriving for the yearly powwow on how the game is and the direction, the swapping of ideas.
Wine.
The butler at McLaughlin Manor wasn't initially answering the door.
No.
Remember last year only the Scott boys brought wine?
Yeah. A lot of booze there, isn't there?
Standards have improved.
Yeah, they have. Now we need someone to carry 2 bottles in.
No, Chris Fagan brought the suitcase full of it.
Did he really? Put on your face. Yeah, scotch cans, everything for later on. No one's answering. Come on, Gil does that for theatre. Come on, Gil.
The irony of leaving Bucks at the mercy of the doorstop cameras for an extra 5 minutes. It was too delicious to let go.
Oh,
anyway, so that's
all let me have my minute.
Happening there. All right, our matinees tonight are dedicated to Kevin Sheedy.
Yep.
50 years in footy, which is going to be celebrated on Thursday night. Pick one of all the eccentricities. So put the football achievements aside. Pick one of the eccentricities for a matinee.
It's not my favourite moment, but it was the moment where I thought anything could happen here. It was when he was beaten by the Kangaroos and he was walking off the ground and North Melbourne fans started pelting him and Mark Thompson with marshmallows. I just started coming from... They've just lost the final. He'd be furious, Sheedy. He'd be furious. Bomber's spoken to us about it. He was just hit. He called them marshmallows, a couple of officials at North Melbourne, to add, not for the first time, Sheedy adding spice to a game of football. But he added a bit of spice. They got beaten and some fans brought the marshmallows along. Can you remember that night?
That's such good fandom behaviour.
Oh, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And you?
I've gone the jacket wave. A spontaneous moment that lives on to this day. So, round 16, 1993.
Guess who he looks back at?
Who does he glance back at?
Mick
Malthouse. And how this has lived, it's still reenacted now, but I was watching Ronnie Chang International Student last week, which is a new comedy on the ABC, and the law faculty played the medical faculty in a footy game, and the coach, who's a rather desperate figure at the end when they won, he's out waving the jacket. You go, it's a cultural crossover. Beautiful.
What were you watching?
Ronnie Chang International Student.
All right. When's that on? Mondays?
It's Wednesday nights. Catch it on iView. Do watch one and we'll talk about it.
I will watch it.
It's very good.
No problem. Ronnie, right, go.
All right.
I'll just relax.
Top of the agenda, the season's first tribunal sitting, and it's a double billing. Basher Hooley has gone first. Basher Hooley's been suspended for 2 weeks, which does seem just a little bit surprising. Let's head to the tribunal and join Julian de Stoop. Jules, walk us through it.
Yeah, I think surprise is the word, Gerard, given the Richmond, at the end, Richmond were pushing for 2 weeks, the AFL were pushing for 4. So I think we all thought, given Basher Records' great character and great record, never being suspended before, that probably 3 was the right result. But Wayne Hedwood, who was the speaker for the jury, basically said when delivering the 2 weeks that they'd never come across a player with such integrity and such great character, and fair to say had some pretty impressive references tonight. He had Mark Williams, of course, former Richmond development coach, Port Adelaide senior coach, Waleed Ali, who we should mention is a Richmond supporter, so maybe a little bit of conflict of interest there from Waleed Ali, and also the Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, who of course was at Punt Road announcing some extra funding for the Bachar Houli programs yesterday. But it was a very passionate defence from Bachar Houli, saying he was shocked to be accused of intentionally striking someone. That certainly wasn't the case. He was trying to run for the ball. Jed Lamb grabbed his arm, as he had done quite often in the first term, and he swung his arm back trying to knock his arm away so he could run into position to get the ball. He said he didn't celebrate with his teammates after the game. He made a beeline for Mark Murphy and Bryce Gibbs to explain himself. Then he got Jed Lamb's number and texted him after the game to check on his welfare. But he just kept repeating that he was stunned to be accused of doing something like this, because he's never done something like this in his life. Now, the other important part when deeming intention was whether this was in play or behind play. With a behind play incident or off the ball, any strike is deemed intentional, but the chairman of the tribunal made it pretty clear that this was in play, given Bachar Houli was trying to run into position to receive a handball from Sean Grigg at the time. But in saying all that, he was still found guilty of intentional contact.
Yeah,
and once
so Jules, this is really important. Yeah, so this is really important. He was found guilty of the intentional strike, and he was given what basically amounts to the penalty for the reckless strike.
Well, for a careless strike, as you know, it's only careless or intentional now, and that was 3 down to 2 if that's what the MRP deemed. So that's why everyone is so surprised by this verdict tonight.
So is the likelihood here that he actually got 4 weeks, down 1 on the guilty plea and down 1 for his outstanding character in the game?
Yeah, I think that's the feeling, Jared. I think that's exactly what happened, and it went down to the 2 weeks, which, as I say, has left everyone very, very surprised. And even more surprising, Bachar Houli and Neil Balme wouldn't speak afterwards, which is so surprising given it's such a good result for Bachar Houli and the Richmond Football Club. So, yeah, it's certainly been a night of surprises here so far.
I got one more, Jules. We had Barry Hall at the Hall of Fame, and he joked that he was able to play in a premiership team because there was a loophole that he threw a punch and they argued that it was in play, and everyone laughed. Are you telling me that Bachar Houli was in play because he was running into position? That's not in play.
That's exactly what the chairman, and he stated that 3 or 4 times, because the representative of the AFL was trying to say it wasn't off the ball, but it was, sorry, not behind play, but it was off the ball. But he made that very, very clear to the jury. It's funny you mentioned Barry Hall there, because that was brought up and the chairman said, I'm not sure we can go there. That probably wasn't the right decision. And the great Neil Balme in the background said, well, of course Barry Hall got off. He played for Sydney at the time. So that was brought up at some stage during this tribunal hearing.
So this is where it gets really good, Robbo. Is Will Schofield is now before the tribunal. Yep. If Will Schofield is unsuccessful, and I think there's every reason to think that he will be, he's going to walk away tonight with, guess how many weeks?
2 matches, Jared.
2 matches. We're going to have to marry up the glancing chin knock with the player being knocked cold.
With a flailing, which I hate.
We're going to have to sit here and go, both will get 2 weeks.
Just to settle you down, or not settle you down, I'll just give a little time for you to think of what you're going to say next. I'll say this. The system is in strife if a man is knocked out with the arm going behind the head, behind the back, and a short arm jolt to the chin. The system is in real strife, Jared.
So this is really interesting. There's obvious anger in Perth. Who I take it that the West Australian media hasn't documented the lowering of the threshold over the last month, because once Clayton Oliver, we went through this last night, once Clayton Oliver said what he said, and once the medical report said that he had a sore jaw in the aftermath of it, there's actually no room to move anymore. We removed the threshold, which we are on opposite sides of. I think the professional sport does need a certain threshold, but that's what we've abandoned over the last month. So Schofield is going to argue insufficient force. Now, if the tribunal actually does go for that, it throws the system into all sorts of difficulties, because the AFL and the MRP have just wrestled themselves to an agreed position on this. If the tribunal, as the independent body, reinserts insufficient force tonight, then we've got real strife. Yeah,
we are in real strife. I'm not going to go away from my stance that he threw a forearm which hit a bloke, hit Oliver in the jaw. I think he's got to be penalised for that. The West Coast Eagles clearly is thinking, no. So they're appealing it, and it's almost an antiquated system now, which we've got to get rid of. We can't say you are not allowed to appeal, because if you do appeal and lose, we're going to bunk up another.
Yeah,
that is wrong.
Yeah. So next year, when you punch anywhere, head, body, you'll get a mandatory week. It won't be 2 weeks.
No, it won't
You'll
be.
get a mandatory week. And if you think you're not guilty of it, go to the tribunal. But you'll get the mandatory week rather than the 2.
I agree. But imagine that if he gets 2 and Hooley gets 2.
And that's the favoured way from here, frankly. The tribunal might... It would be really interesting. Anyway, we'll go back to Jules.
Well, if that's true, we may have an emergency 360 at 9 o'clock tonight.
We'll just stay put. The Eagles have this afternoon ruled out Shannon Hearn, Josh Kennedy and Mark Lacroix. So the presence of Will Schofield is quite significant for the trip to Melbourne to play the Bulldogs. We're going to head to Adelaide for Tex Walker soon, but the furnace goes next.
You care about your players, there's no doubt about that.
What about worry about them?
Are you talking
specifically?
Are you talking long term now?
Yeah, probably.
No, I'm not, Jared. No, I'm really confident. Our medical staff, our experts are telling us that no, he's going to be fine.
I've got a trigger clause, so if I trigger that this year, then I trigger a contract for next year. And if there's a case like Jimmy Bartel and Geelong where the club doesn't see me as part of their future, and near future being next year, then we'll come to a decision. But right now, I've got a games clause in my contract.
You want to go on next year?
Of course. The only way I think this is going to pan out, Jared, Ed's probably jumped on the plane on Saturday night and said to someone at Deloitte's or somewhere, go head hunting for me, shake a few trees and see what we can get.
Well, they'd be derelict in their duty if they haven't put a contract in front of Alistair Clarkson, for instance, or John Longmire, and tried to get one of the very best coaches.
There may be a $2 million offer in front of those guys. It wouldn't surprise me if there was.
The umpires got it perfect in the Dixon situation because it was on the scoreboard.
Yes,
you know, it's just crazy that one can have it on the scoreboard and the other doesn't. It's like saying holding the ball in the first half of the quarter is this, but then the last 5 minutes we're going to interpret it this way. It's just stupid.
Media is your greatest tool as a player. I honestly believe that. I think the media, for players and for clubs, can be a wonderful tool to access your supporters and bring them along for the ride. Most clubs are trying to promote sponsorship within their organisation, and the only way that you can do that is open the doors, bring everyone in.
Let's make it clear, this is not about me. This
No, it's not about you.
No. Wood media.
No.
And all of that leads us to real or overreaction.
We've had hotter furnaces than that.
Yes, yeah, we have, which is not a bad thing.
It's a deep breath Tuesday. This is the quintessential deep breath Tuesday.
Yeah, because we've obsessed over close games, which is great. So maybe the controversies are just a little less.
Righto.
So dating back to the piece you wrote with Brendan Goddard ahead of his 300th game, Brendan Goddard is certain to go on.
Oh, yeah, he said it. He said it that a month ago. Yeah, I saw it was brought up again. Yeah, he's absolutely certain to go on. That's real, Jared. Don't forget to ask me the question. That is real. It's 17 or 18 games. He's played all games. He had a poor one the weekend. I reckon he'd be top 4 Essendon best and fairest. He's moving well. Goddard's playing on. Unless there's a bad injury, he's definitely there next year.
Yep. So did you say you think he'd be top 4 in the best and fairest?
Yeah, he'd be going close. Yep. Like, he's had a different role this year, BJ. He became a bit of a run-with player after about round 3, round 4. Actually, he might have gone to Pendlebury on Anzac Day, by memory. But he's had about 5 run-with roles, which are not necessarily, I'm going to run around every with you, a lot of protection at stoppages, you know, not letting people free. So, yeah, no, he's been pretty solid. He went... God almighty. Question 2. The score review is inadequate.
That's a very genteel word.
Real or overreaction, Jared?
You could have put any word you like on the end and this is real.
When kids are watching, I can't swear.
We're asking limited and flawed technology to perform a role that it is manifestly incapable of performing. So in this instance, we were searching for the ball hitting the back of the post. That was the request of the umpire. It clearly didn't hit the back of the post.
No, it didn't.
Where's that ball on the hand in relation to the line and the rule that says all of the ball over all of the line?
No, that's the rule. But no one has ever put in post padding.
Post padding. So all of the ball past the post padding
and
the back of the line.
And the post padding.
Is that in the laws?
No, of course it's not in the laws. That's called interpretation.
Then this ball is a blur the whole way through. A blur. It's longer than the shape of the ball in the vision that's been examined. There is no possible way that you can get an answer from that.
The umpire, the goal umpire guessed, right?
Yep.
And the review man said, well, I don't know.
Well, his guess is as good as any.
So what would you do? Would you scrap it?
Yeah, of course I would.
Yeah?
I wouldn't have allowed it to come in until it's at a point where it can actually serve the game properly. I actually think the goal umpires are doing a really good job with them.
They've been doing a pretty good job for 130 years, Jared.
We're only ever told they only ever made 1 or 2 mistakes. It turns out, we're second-guessing most of the things they do. It's just too flawed. If it was, if it was crystal, and if it could present you with a proper outcome, not a maybe outcome, but a proper outcome, then I'd be absolutely for it. But we're asking it now. We're reviewing the kick out of the pack, which the field umpire calls touch. So the field umpire, think about what that is.
Well, I've been told to wind you up, Jared.
And we're asking, did that touch his fingers?
When all the cameramen are going like that as well, it says wind it up. What's next?
The Magpies.
So hang on, we've done the match review panel.
Yep.
Gone. The goal review.
Yep.
Gone. What's next?
The shot clock.
The shot clock.
Just put that down because Jack, that's in his wheelhouse.
That's his segment. Yeah,
that's in his
Jack.
wheelhouse.
Looking forward to Jack.
All right.
Question.
The Magpies must have a plan. They must have a plan.
No, I think that's an overreaction, Jared. I actually think if Eddie Maguire was sitting here, he may lie, I don't know, but I think if we asked Eddie Maguire what's he going to do next year, he'd say, I don't know. I don't think they've got much idea. I think a lot of people at Collingwood that are hoping that Buckley can win the next 9, get in the finals, and they'll say, we're going to reappoint him. Maybe they're going after Roos. Maybe they've dangled in front of Clarkson. Well, that would be pointless because Alistair Clarkson told Hawthorn, according to the new CEO, gave the guarantee that he would be there for the rest of his contract. Gave the guarantee to the club. So I don't think Clarkson's going to go against his guarantee. So Clarkson might be out. What do we say about Buckley and Collingwood? 9 games to go. If they need another 9 games to decide whether he's a good coach or a bad coach or can't take him any further, good on Collingwood. But I think they're hanging on that he can make a late run. That's what I'm thinking. Paddy McCart needs to change his approach, Jared. Real or overreaction?
So real in taking the lead from Richo, but not specific to the incident from the weekend. And I thought Richo sort of set it up really well, both the history, the now and the future. I don't know how you guard against that.
He sort of slipped a little bit. He went down, he lost his footing. It looks like it's a bit wet.
So the idea of self-preservation is very much important to him, as once you've had 6 concussions over a period of time from when you're a junior.
Oh, he didn't slip. He went to his knees to get the ball.
Self-preservation. So I think that's part of it. And Angus Brayshaw is obviously going to be in the same category. You can't plough on in the same manner that you have done. 5 Thursday nights is enough.
No, that's rubbish, overreaction.
You really
Thursday
like
nights
Thursdays,
are great,
don't you?
yeah. Thursday nights is terrific. We're getting really, really good games. It sets up the weekend. 5 games on Saturday, Jared, is far too many. We argue about, we can't have them on Thursday night, but we want 5 games. We want 10 hours of football on a Saturday. Get rid of the 4:30 game. Just get rid of it, or the 4:40 game. We don't need it.
Well, you want a breather in the middle.
We don't. It's not a breather. We got overlap all the time.
Yeah, but your overlap is 1:45 and 2:10.
Oh, is it? No, give us a breather.
Game.
Yeah, Jared. Oh,
sorry.
Let's put the television, the television fixture down as well.
I hadn't thought about the quality.
Right, Jared. Roaming Brian should be compulsory. Real or overreaction?
God, we as a media can carry on. This is an overreaction, but the best part of it is, if you'd listened to the commentary around this, you would have thought that Roaming Brian was a community service, which was enriching the lives of people.
You're going off tap tonight. You are off tap.
So the Swans had it set up, and the Swans' access on Friday night was absolutely sensational. Not only did Gary Rowan did the interview with Fox, he then went up the race and did an interview out on the ground with 3AW. Is the way this has been depicted as the Swans put the shutters down. They just didn't want to indulge all of that and go, you can have whoever you like here.
If Seven sacked Brian Taylor, would you do Roaming, Jared?
No. You can hold me to that.
Let's go on ad break.
The big news of the day was the re-signing of Taylor Walker. This was where you could roll out, he is now a Crow for life.
Unbelievable! That is off the scale from Tex.
Not in my wildest dreams would I be thinking that I'll be a one-club player. Walker, brilliant. He's got the leg there. Have a look at that. Now that's exquisite.
I'd go to the club with a smile on my face, kicking myself how lucky we are to be able to do what we're doing.
And it's only getting better and better.
Super exciting for me, and understand that where our group's at, there's some success to be had. It's a great footy club and one that I'm looking forward to finishing my career at.
Signed to the end of 2021, we crossed to Sam Mitchell in the family courtyard. We crossed to the shared house in GWS to talk to their stars. We crossed to Tex in the pub, his pub, the Alma Tavern. Taylor Walker, welcome back to AFL 360.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
Why did you want to do this now, and how significant is it to you to have it locked away?
Oh, look, personally, it's great for me to be able to extend my contract, and I can now call myself a one-club player, which is something that I'll be super proud of once I've retired and I can look back at it. But look, our club's done a lot of hard work, and we've been, especially the last 3 or 4 years, we've been through so much as a group, and I know that there's some success just around the corner, not too far away, and I want to be a part of that. And I want guys that are in this footy club to be a part of that as well.
Did you, obviously once you're entrusted with the leadership of the club, the bond forges even stronger. How much of a Crow do you feel at heart, I guess, as a result of leading this club now over a period of time?
Yeah, look, as a little kid, I barracked for the Crows. Not many people would know that. And then, obviously, being lucky enough to play for this great footy club, it means the world to me. Not in my wildest dreams would I be thinking that I'd be sitting here at the age of 27, pretty much signing off the rest of my career into a one-club player. So I'm super proud and very excited to be able to call myself a one-club player at this great footy club.
You kept going on about that, Tex, about the one-club player. How much is it playing on your mind to be a premiership club player?
Yeah, it definitely sits quite well with me, Robbo, that I'd love to be a premiership player and premiership captain, but I know there's a lot of hard work to do, and I know we've put in place a great culture and environment at this footy club to be able to do that. So Pikey and the coaches have got our full responsibility and back to be able to do that. And it might be this year, it might not be, but I know that it's not far away.
Give us an insight. I'm not asking you here to bash the media, Tex, and I know you can get frustrated with media at times. But living in that town where the Crows are performing so well, and after round 6, everyone's going, oh, Crows are going to win it by so far. You have some bad losses. You get your game back together. You have a loss on the weekend that most people thought you should have won. How difficult is it in a town like Adelaide dealing with the expectations from people seriously in a competition where we're having upsets every weekend?
Yeah, look, it's definitely something that you have to adapt and get used to. As you said, the first 6 rounds, I think we were premiership favourites. We weren't going to lose a game, and whatever else was said. And now everyone's worked out our game plan. We don't have a plan B. So it just goes to show that the media ride the bumps and ride the roller coaster. It's up to us as individuals and a footy club to be able to listen to the guys that we hold in high regard and trust, and they're the coaches. And we know that we're not in the best form as a footy club, but we've been able to produce some pretty exciting footy along the way this year and last year as well. So we know it's not too far around the corner.
Hey, Tex, your football club's been labelled soft. You said no plan B, and you take it easy against teams you should beat. I mean, the whole country was watching Thursday night v Hawks, and everyone's dissected it in their own way, with data, without data. What was the feeling inside the club about why you lost that game?
Oh, look, in the end, I think we pretty much beat ourselves. Our execution going forward, we had a lot of inside 50s, and as a forward group, we were disappointed that we weren't able to capitalise on that and finish the hard work that our mids had been doing. So we know that there's some areas in our game that we need to ramp up, and especially when we're challenged and it's in an arm wrestle, that we need to stand up as individuals and as a footy club.
The idea of holding a group together, Tex, which is obviously significant. This is something that you've addressed by signing the future. How important is it? And then it gets quite specific. How much do you need Lever and McGovern to sign up?
Oh, look, it's super important to me. That's part of the reason why I signed at this footy club. I want to, in 10 years' time, I want to be sitting on the other side of the fence watching the guys like Lever, McGovern and Cameron and Atkins, guys like that are starting to hit some great form in their career and they're able to say that they're going to be a Crow for life. But look, as I said, we want to create an environment and culture that when it comes time for those guys to make their decision, they want to stay at the Adelaide Footy Club.
Tex, take this however way you want to take it, but it's not personal. Why don't you do something about Rory Sloane getting tagged every week? Why don't you big blokes at the Crows... Ask me, what can you do?
What would you like me to do, Robbo?
I would like you to wait till you got within 5 minutes of the ball, and I want you to go in and pretend you're tackling and go in and try and shake the tag somehow. I know you can't do much, Tex, but it looks like he's on his own. Sometimes if you gang up together and 5 go at the opposition, you can make a stand, I reckon, without maybe hurting him. You can be intimidating.
Yeah, look, I think you answer your own question. Like, as a footy club, we need to help Sonny out, and he's still learning his craft as a player. But to us, he's playing a really key role for us. And look, we can certainly help him out. But as you know, Robbo, there's a fine line now. And, you don't want to cross it because the MRP potentially can sting you, and you don't want to go over the line and hurt your team even more and get suspended. So we definitely need to step up and help him out, but it's work in progress.
Hey Tex, congratulations on the contract. So we'll see you at the Elmer for many years to come, I'm sure.
Great pub.
Thanks, boys.
Tex Walker with us on AFL 360.
I hope he didn't take offence with that.
No, I'm sure he didn't.
5 of them should run at the tagger. 5 of them, not to hurt him, just start pushing him.
Let's bring in our players, shall we? Jack Riewoldt and Jordan Lewis with much to discuss.
Every player on the ground, inside the defensive part of the ground here. The Eagles, well done Oliver, got it to Hibbert. Can he score from there? Hibbert bends it back. They need a Mark Melbourne. Hunt flies. Pedersen couldn't grab it. McDonald tackle. Can he get boots the ball? Oh, he's done it to McDonald. A chance for Melbourne. Off the Melbourne.
Oh, somehow he gets a kick away. Tom McDonald with a goal on the night to win the game. The mark taken and they've won the game.
That's one of Melbourne's great wins in their recent history.
Unbelievable win.
The Demon Believers and our man with the footy at the end. Jordan Lewis, welcome.
Boys.
Jack Riewoldt, hello.
Thank you. How are we?
All right, so the serious before the frivolous.
Oh, hang on.
No, we have serious issues first. So your teammate Basher Hooley has been suspended for 2 weeks. Do you feel like that's probably the best available outcome?
Oh, look, it's hard to comment to say what I think the outcome is. It's the tribunal's job to come up with the penalty, and that's what they deemed fit for the act and for the person involved. But look, he's a really important player for us, Basher, and one that's probably been a little bit of a whipping boy for the Tigers supporters out there, but he's been having a great season for us, and yeah, it's going to be a tough spot to fill.
You have to support him, there's no doubt. But you're a football guy, Jack, and I'm not expecting you to say anything bad against him. But when you saw that, you knew that he's going to be suspended. Even though you said it was out of character and he wouldn't do it on purpose, and I agree with that. But he had to go.
And he has.
And you're happy with 2?
Oh, I'd love for him to get no weeks. I need him to play. He's an important player. He's obviously going to get weeks. It's striking and referred straight to the tribunal. But that's not. I actually don't know. It's not my job to decide what the weeks are, and that's why we have a tribunal process, and that's what they've come up with.
What do you think, Jordan?
Yeah, it was interesting. But in saying that, we're not in the room, so you don't know what was discussed and what went on and the character references, which obviously helped Malcolm Turnbull whilst in. So that was an interesting one. But, I mean, the Tigers will be doing backflips.
Would it be problematic as players of the game, and you can take the personalities out of it, if one man with a swinging arm who knocked an opponent cold to another who clipped a player with the edge of his elbow both ended up with the same penalty?
Yeah, well, I think that's probably the flaw in the system, that if you think you haven't done anything wrong and you want to try and prove your innocence, you actually get penalised for that. I don't believe going to the tribunal and arguing your case and then being unsuccessful, then that deserves an extra week. I think you should go there if you really feel like you're innocent, plead your case, and then if it's not successful, well, then you still get that penalty that's in place. I don't believe in an extra week for just arguing the point.
I agree with you. Jack?
I probably tend to agree with what your sentiments are there. It's yeah, look, it's they're two different circumstances. I really do think that Bash's great record over 11 years of AFL football,
it's got to be rewarded for that.
Has to be rewarded.
Yeah, it has to be rewarded
in some
for that.
form, and look, to be honest, it probably has.
Why was it brought in? Yeah, if you challenge it, so you get two, reduced to one for early
it actually works the other way. So you get 2 weeks, and if you want to take advantage of 1 week, you plead guilty. So we reference it the other way, that you get the extra week by going. It works the other way, but the flaw is you go from a fine to 2 weeks. There's no middle step where you get 1 week and you get to challenge on those grounds. And I'm sure that's the flaw that will be rectified between 2017 and 18. You have featured in the evidence of the Schofield-Oliver case, Jordan, in the transcripts of the tribunal, not for the first time. Schofield has said, Jordan Lewis has come up to me and uttered, "Well done, mate," and tapped me on the bum.
I think that was before.
Let's just have a look.
That happened.
Jordan. So this is in the there we are.
There you go.
You incited it.
So just tell us.
Why did you tap him on the bum for?
I provoked him. Well, I was trying to diffuse the situation, get everyone out of there and go back to their huddles. I think what had been done already had been done, and then just go back to your huddles, cool down, and then come back out and
God, you've matured, haven't you?
play some football.
You are
but
so mature. Well, what did you say?
He didn't take my advice, obviously.
No, he didn't.
So Oliver is getting attacked for diving. Have you spoken to Oliver about it?
Yeah.
What can you share with us what he said to you?
I mean, he's got thick skin, the kid. He doesn't really care what's said about him. But what I do know is the type of person he is and the player that he is, he's not going to go to ground like that if nothing happened. He just wouldn't do it. He's not like that. I mean, I remember when I was playing for Hawthorn and Cyril Rioli absolutely cleaned him up right down the middle. And he got straight back up and kept playing. So he's not a weak kid or anything like that. So for all the keyboard warriors out there seems to be a few sportsmen that have become keyboard warriors and think they can comment on everything. Well, they've been proven wrong because he's at the tribunal arguing his case.
The shot clock?
Yep.
Just, what do you think of the shot clock, Jack?
Oh, look.
Take a rest,
the fan engagement, I think it's great, but the umpires have a good understanding of how long a player's taken. I had an incident on the weekend. I had took a mark, went back. The umpire called 15, and I was like, "Yep, no worries." Just going off the umpire said, thought it was in the last 2 minutes of the quarter because they were not showing the shot clock. So claiming the mark there, Mark McClure style. You see that? Arms up in the air, you beauty. Might not have even been a mark.
Yes,
no,
it was.
And
Just
there,
you asked him how long?
Yeah, the umpire said 15 seconds, and I went back and was thinking, "Yep, no worries." And then this 24 seconds. So I'm sort of stuck in two minds here. As I'm walking in, I'm seeing the clock going, 24. I should have, late in the game, probably should have taken a little bit more time. But
so what happened there, you think?
So the umpire said 15 seconds to go and the clock said 24.
28.
28.
Yeah, so it must have been just a bit of miscommunication. But
we can't have miscommunication on this issue.
Yeah, I think that I don't actually know when the clock starts. That's the thing, because we had
as soon as you mark it.
It's supposed to start as soon as the whistle is blown to pay the mark. It's supposed to start then.
Yeah,
so it requires someone to.
I feel like the umpire can. They have the ability to control that.
What about the missing shot clock in the last 2 minutes of a quarter, when in theory it probably matters most then?
Look, I probably would just do away with the shot clock at all and just have the umpires control it. So, I heard the analogy on radio today. You don't take away the shot clock in basketball in the last 2 minutes, do you? You still need to have some concept of time, and now we have the time on the banner around the ground when there's less than 3 minutes to go as well. You can see I've caught myself looking at that. Certainly in the Sydney game, I knew there was about 2 minutes to go, and we were trying to win it. So I'm saying, look, hey, don't worry, there's 2 minutes to go here. We can win this.
The shot clock has added absolutely zero to football.
It's added pressure, a little bit of pressure to the umpires and whoever's controlling that they've got to get it right, and it just hasn't happened. And I'm with Jack. I think the umpires know roughly how long a player is taken. They can just control it. They don't need a clock to see whether it's been 25 seconds or 30 seconds.
There's a feel for the game.
You can feel if the guy's trying to suck time out of the game.
Of course, isn't the umpire? It's his position to say, righto, Curry, go. Everyone go at him now.
Yeah.
You've had your time.
I think it was brought in for fan engagement, to get the crowd up and about, and I just don't think it's worked.
The win in Perth and now the setup for Friday night against Sydney this is big time for Melbourne in what they're trying to do.
Yeah, Melbourne haven't been on the Friday night stage for a while, and this is our only Friday night game for the year, so the boys are looking forward to it. They might not know their routine leading up into the game, but massive win over in the West Coast. We were down and out with probably 5 minutes to go.
McClure again. A second McClure.
I thought it was a rugby scrum. So it's a huge opportunity for not only us as a club, but for the supporters to get there on a Friday night and show the improvement that we've made this year.
It's so exciting when a team has not played in finals for a while and hasn't won a It is so damn exciting. But from your position, you've got to be walking around the club saying, hey, it's round 14. We are miles from the finishing line.
Yeah, and we haven't spoken about finals. I would be surprised if any side had spoken about finals yet. But I suppose what we're giving to fans and even ex-players who haven't really followed the Melbourne Football Club in recent times are now starting to come back and enjoying going to the football, watching the Melbourne Football Club play, and proud of what we're doing. So I think the players understand that we bring fulfilment and enjoyment to others who might have lost their way in the last couple of years.
And back to the Adelaide Oval. So this is really the only failing of the year for Richmond was at the Adelaide Oval. This time it's Port Adelaide, and you've got a pretty rich and storied history against them in recent times as well. So this is big time too.
Yeah, we've had a bit of backroom stuff through the trading period as well.
Kane Corn said that they hate Richmond.
Chaplin went from Port to Richmond.
Port Adelaide.
Kane Corn said today that it goes all the way back like 20 years.
Kane Corns is speaking on behalf of the Port Adelaide Footy Club.
We did play 300 games there.
Yeah, we beat him in their 300th. He's 300th too, I think. So, no, look, that is a cauldron, an absolute cauldron over there, and we've played some tight tussles over there.
Do you like Port Adelaide? Seriously, are they as much as a rival as Kane Corn said today?
Oh, look, we've played in some big games. We played them in a final. We've taken Troy Chaplin from them. Then there was a bit of a celebration that didn't go down too well with the Port Adelaide thing, but it's...
So yes, basically,
all games are a big one, but we've had a little bit of pass, but I wouldn't say we were rivals. I would have thought Adelaide would be their rival.
You just had a go at Kane. He did play 300 games. He's a legend of the club.
Great player, 300 games of AFL footy. That's a great achievement.
So there's plenty at stake. Clearly, it's good.
It's great.
The greatest, which is tomorrow night, is the greatest big hits of all time. So we had Alan Richardson in that chair last night. He's going to be high. You're going to feature, and you're going to be pretty high as well, Geordie.
Yeah, it was something I can't really say that I remember too much, but it's always a topic of conversation, concussion, and there's been recent concussions that have happened, and I've always said if I had my time again, I would have had a little bit of a break from football, and I still think that should be the case for guys who get concussed and knocked out during a game.
A question? If you knew that Harbrow was coming and that was going to be the result, would you get out of the way, or would you still wear it and take what happened for the next 5-6 weeks after it?
No, you wouldn't get out of the way, but you maybe have put my arms up to try and protect myself.
Because it's funny, people go, "Oh, how brave going with the ball."
No, I didn't know.
I didn't know he
was
there. And you're out for 5
so,
weeks. You think, God.
Sam Mitchell's a pretty good kick, so I thought he was kicking me the ball in open spaces, and there Harbrow was. But yeah, it was a big hit.
It was a big hit. You played the next week, didn't you?
Yeah, probably should.
How ridiculous is that?
Good luck for the weekend.
Thank you.
Good luck at Port Adelaide. Big game.
It is.
Jordan Lewis and Jack Revolt with us. Another Warrnambool great, or a young man who's looking to become a Warrnambool great, is the Rising Star nominee for this week.
The 2017 NAB AFL Rising Star Award.
That effort so far. Ryan Lester probably is just his leadership, and he's really good to play with and go out there with. There's nothing like the feeling when you run out in front of the crowd and you kick goal or something like that. It's pretty awesome. First thing is really good. I think Sammy Powpepper from Port, just that mature body.
Team NAB AFL Rising Star Award.
Back in 1967, one of the storied careers of the game began when Kevin Sheedy debuted as a Tiger. This week he celebrates 50 years in Aussie rules. 3 flags as a player, 4 as a coach, a master, a character, a man responsible not only for memorable moments but innovations within the game. There was never a dull moment. There still never is. And Kevin Sheedy is with us again on AFL 360. Kev, welcome.
Yeah, no, great to come in, and it's always great watching the show. So it's pretty good for the fans to get a good coverage and the insights to listen to players too, which is excellent.
50 years, eh? It's a long time.
It's 50 years. But it's been a good 50 years. I mean, I've stacked a fair bit in it, and I enjoyed it. And, I met some beautiful people. Get around the country and get to know my Australia, which I always wanted to do. So I've got no problems with that. The coaching and the playing side has been excellent. Working in the press at sometimes, good, learning. So it's been a really good mixture, and of course public speaking really makes you have to consider what really you have to say when you get up and near that microphone.
You're looking fit, Coach?
I train 3 or 4 times a week. Yeah.
Do you really? Good on you.
Well,
I'm
trying to get to 70.
Well,
6 months to go.
What are you, born at 47?
47 boy, yeah.
Late December. Hey, you've given a lot to footy. What's footy given you?
Oh, some sincere happiness. I mean, not many people get the opportunity to do something they love. Meet people that you would never have met. Seen the world a fair bit.
Yeah.
Been able to take my family away a lot and try to educate them, not necessarily at school but after school, colleges and that sort of thing. And really met some beautiful people, as I said before. Australia's got some great people. I mean, I know we pick up the paper and that's wrong and we've done that wrong, but 95% of this country is brilliant. 24 million people on a big island, and we're pretty good. We are a pretty good country.
We are. When you're going to be asked on Thursday night, big function at the MCG, you'll be speaking. I think it's not a surprise, is it?
No.
Good. There's a big function on Thursday night. I should have checked on that. When you reflect your happy years or your most content years now that you're finished, was it your playing days when you were part of that famous Richmond group? Was it, your early years and establishing yourself as a coach and then the longevity of the coach? Yeah. Was it the challenge of going to Sydney, an expansion club? When you look back, if you have a glass of red in your back garden, when you look back, what's the most satisfying period, you think?
Period? Well, I think that I reckon that probably I couldn't have got much better out of my football. I mean, really, I was very lucky.
Playing or coaching?
Playing. Yeah, I was really lucky to get the chance at Prahran, and the VFA was a great education for me because I was only 16, and I was really surrounded by a great club. The women and the men at the Prahran Footy Club, and then I rolled into Tom Hafey after my dad died, and my dad's name was Tom, and the next guy I meet is this unbelievable man.
Did he become a father figure for you?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, he just drummed everything that you didn't know. He let you know. And, of course, Not totally impressed with the back pocket plumber, but, you know.
It's a famous line that survived, didn't it? Because people just think you're a mongrel who played in the back pocket, and we've all seen highlights, getting belted and belting people. And
that's the way it was. So bad like you weren't there.
Did you ever say anything?
I would have belted you.
No, but it is famous footage, and it's great to hear that sort of stuff. I don't know about you, Jared. I think it's, come on, Kevin, get it on your boot.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, well, I mean, the thing was, you know, Tommy wasn't big on non-preferred side football disposal, and I was. You know, I was a skills coach at Richmond. I did 7 or 8 years, probably racked up about a couple of thousand clinics at Tigerland and Essendon, just footy clinics, other than playing. And of course, I was the first full-time player and the first full-time coach. And trying to break the mould of being part-time and going to work. And so my work was going to schools. And basically in there, one of the great things that come out of it was I learned to coach from women school teachers, the phys ed teachers and the guys that said, now look, just do the clinic this way, don't let the kids look in the sun, don't sit them down for too long. And it was a really wonderful education from the education system. Just a lot of things that people wouldn't know.
You're representing all three clubs.
Oh, yeah, well, I mean, the
Scars.
Giants and the Tigers,
Yeah.
I mean, you can't, it's just not about Essendon, but look, I see that, and I see how the great Alan Schwab was a magnificent administrator, and a lot of vision that he taught me probably stemmed from him. The ruthlessness, obviously, the ferocity come from Graham, Richmond, GR, and I reckon that Tommy was just super fit, you know, and he made sure that you were. If you're going to play, I had to get everything right because the team was such a brilliant team. I mean, they got the 5 premierships in something like 13 years and probably seven grand finals in 13 years or something like that.
Did you barrack for Essendon, Richmond?
I barracked for Essendon when I was a kid.
Have you gone back to that childhood? I know you played at Richmond and won flags. If someone said to you now, who do you barrack for, who would you say?
Oh, well, I mean, I love watching this mob play.
I'm sure you do.
Yeah, it's a very difficult answer. I mean, it's
Just
like
answer
saying,
us, give us something.
Okay, well, do you want me to say, do I like my daughter, my son and my wife? Which one do I love?
Good.
It's about the same, you know, you love them all. And because they've given me that 50 years, you can't really dislike one more than the other or like one more than the other. But Essendon's been 30 years now. I've been back there in the innovation and creativity area, and that's been good because
you shaped Essendon and this club shaped you.
They shaped me as a hard-nosed person.
Absolutely.
This mob gave me a lot of vision to work at.
You shaped Essendon, and then the AFL asked you to shape this club.
Vladimir did, yes.
Haven't heard that for a while.
Vladimir Dimitrov. David Matthews was pretty good in that area because he could understand what I was on about, getting the ball and getting the team around Australia. But the Bombers were great because they were the first club that took the risk to go and play practice match for 10 years outside Victoria, and now they call it the AFL.
The start of the stories for Thursday night. Sheeds, have a great night and congratulations from everyone involved in footy.
Look, I'd love to thank all the fans. Obviously my family, my mum and dad in particular, and my brothers and sisters, because they had to live it with me and I probably didn't get to see them as much as what I would love.
Kevin Sheedy with us on AFL 360. A very special open mic coming up next with the Florent family.
Who are you? What's that? I thought Eddie was meant to be sitting there. He ate me.
And sets up a chase. But then the play knows where the ball is. Totally disorientated.
Could be the cold.
Nah, just making sure there's nothing hanging out.
It's like Australian, really, is it? I don't know. Is it?
We see Damien Monkhurst in the background there. He's eating everything in sight. So we'll let you go and get some food before he cleans the lot up.
Then you've got young kids like Howe doing a job.
How's the way I said Australian then? Australian.
Unreal.
Australian.
Jared Waite, he's run his full measure. And he kicks the goal, most importantly.
What is the actual rule for that?
Well,
is it how many metres or steps?
Metres. How many years did you play the game for,
Quite well, too. Tomorrow night, John Patton will join us from Sydney. David King and Mark McClure are reunited. Mark Thompson with the Bomber Diaries. And then our special treat ahead of Sunday's fight, Jeff Horn with his last interview before he lives his sporting dream in front of 50,000 people in Brisbane. He fights one of the greats in Manny Pacquiao. He is going to join us on AFL 360. So that is quite the event that's coming on the weekend. Nothing from the tribunal yet.
Thank God.
West Coast is arguing its case thoroughly.
What's that mean?
I think we'll hear the reaction from Perth when it lands.
2 weeks.
That much
I think we're going to have discussions about 2 weeks and 2 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. And what the appropriate steps are from there.
Yeah, it's not good.
So we'll see.
Anyway.
There's a terrific open mic coming up. I think we know a little bit of the Florence story, obviously. Oliver drafted to Sydney, his mum Rachel, after the passing of Dad, who was such a figure in Australian tennis. And we're about to live through that with Mike next.
As always, mate, on Tuesdays, I look forward to open mic. And I'll be watching it tonight.
See you tomorrow night.
See you, pal.
This has been a production of Fox Sports.